welcome to the stream. Wait, is the stream lagging? Okay. Welcome to the stream. Today we're streaming The King's Dilemma again. Continuing from yesterday's whatever that we left off from. Wait, what? Yep. Whatever, my brain's still not working. Oh, by the way, I've added like a few more point redemption stuff because well, like the existing one is kind of boring, and also change some prices so that it's cheaper for some and more expensive. And I'll start to oh, wow. So I think by it being a choices game, it actually kind of feels like what's that game called? Hogwarts Legacy. Yep. Because of the different houses, even though but there's more houses in this game than Hogwarts anyways. An enemy clothed in shadow. Okay. A plague hits liars in the Duchy of Alwyn, promptly named the Red Sky. The infection makes people regurgitate blood until they die. Sounds like what's the name of that virus a few years ago? It kind of makes people bleed a lot or something, I don't know. At the potential cost of condemning the seemingly unaffected citizens, the Holy Attendant believes the entire city should be quarantined to prevent the plague from spreading. Do we quarantine the plague city, sacrificing the healthy citizens? Wait, what? How does that sacrifice healthy citizens? I thought quarantine is a good idea. Oh. The Holy Attendant instructs the army to isolate Lias and transform it into a temporary lazaret. All those who are actually or even potentially infected will be held within its walls. While 3 out of 4 people ultimately succumb to the illness, by preventing the plague from spreading, their sacrifice avoided a much larger death toll. Oh my god, it went even lower. Viewing the Hollow Maidens as the antithesis of the Mother, the Prior Mother asked the Council to combine the forces of the cult with the army to fight this unholy menace. The High Commander agrees, but the two sides are arguing over the priorities. The cult wants to protect people, while the only aim of the army is to defeat the enemy. Do we assign leadership of the cult army alliance to the cult? Wow. Wow. It's so unfair. I kind of already ended. Yeah, I'll just. With the blessing of also the Saint Daughter of Strength, the Prior Mother appoints Anhuna, a fighter priestess from the Circle of the Blessed, as the Iron Priestess. She will be in charge of the Silver Mallet, the new task force dedicated to fight all monstrous and unnatural enemies. The Silver Mallet will prioritize the well-being of the people over the defeat of the enemy. Under the control of the Iron Priestess, and morally guided by the cult, the Silver Mallet will oppose any supernatural threat to the realm. The monstrous Hollow Maidens continue to plague the Knight of Debra, but now we feel a bit more protected from their ravenous attacks. The commanders of the Silver Mallet devised a new training regimen. Soldiers and the priestesses prepare to fight the Hollow Maidens together, their blessed litanies motivating them to stand against the unnatural creatures. While it costs many lives to fight even one of these fiends, fiends, I think. One night the Silver Mallet manages to overpower and capture a Hollow Maiden for the first time. Even though maimed and impaired, the creature is difficult to approach and rapidly hisses at our brave fighters while they put it on a pyre. Only fire can put an end to it. What's anything new? Okay. A group of the Sisters of the Unending have occupied the small village near the Nyoref forest, taking the population hostage. They will exterminate all the villagers unless we surrender the Wonders of Concord, a book from the Royal Library regarding the ancient Concord Monastery in the Mark of Elwed. The Silver Mallet wants to free the village by force. Do we allow an attack on the Sisters of the Unending no matter the risk? No. Yep, I'm following my gut on this one. We decided to surrender the book. The Silver Mallet makes sure the villagers are safe, then tries to follow the heretics stealthily as they escape, but thanks to a smart diversion and the sacrifice of a few of their number, most of the Sisters of the Unending manage to escape. Our scouts followed a Hollow Maiden to her lair. The next night, when most of the Hollow Maidens leave to hunt, the Silver Mallet attacks with its full forces. After a gruesome battle and the sacrifice of many, Celestina is captured with many of the Sisters of the Unending, and a little girl who looks just like her, probably her daughter. The Mallet wants to execute them all, but the first judge says the little girl should be spared. Do we spare her young daughter. Yes. Mm, wow. Okay then. We allow the silver mallet to pursue their eventual purification. Celestina, her daughter, and the sisters of the unending are all executed on the spot, their heads smashed with a silver mallet. Despite its cruel ending, the attack is successful as the Hollow Maidens, terrorizing Libra, falter and fall before they could come back and assist their mistress. The remains of Celestina, her daughter, and her Hollow Maidens are buried with a mixture of earth and salt so that nothing will ever grow from their corrupted bodies. The Prime Mother is sure that um Certus, the Saint Daughter of Justice, will judge them for their misdeeds. We are finally allowed a sigh of relief. To celebrate the Silver Mallet's victory, a giant statue is built in the main square of Libra, an armored fighting priestess raising her arms to the sky with a chalice of the cult in one hand and the sword of the army in the other. It stands as a proud symbol of our uncompromising devotion and of the Silver Mallet's continuing mission to fight the final remnants of the Sisters of the Unending and all other threats to our faith. The last chapter of each storyline will award cohesion or descent points. These represent the amount of order and chaos in the kingdom, and they will serve as the starting point for the uprising. A victory for the light. Sister Tylia, a scholar priestess from Fleur in the Duchy of Bladin, found striking similarities between Celestina customs and some obscure chronicles in the royal library about the early years of the mother's presence in the world. He wants to go to the monastery of Lorraine to investigate further, but the prior mother and the Iron Priestess think it is heresy, and demand her prosecution. Do we escort Sister Thalia, scholar priestess, to Lorraine's monastery? Wow. And yeah, yes, it's a girl anyway, so she should be allowed. And yeah. Sister Tylia is allowed to conduct her research in Lorraine, closely watched by the Silver Mallet. However, many of its officers leave its rank in protest, outraged by our decision. What she discovers in Lorraine sheds a disconcerting light on the figure of the mother. Lifting the veil. Tylia has completed a thorough study of what appears to be King Omad's own words. The most interesting parts speak of the mother's three rites of blood, creation, transfusion, and infection. It also outlines the circumstances that led to the end of her kingdom. Spirit resides in blood, and the blood of the same family line can allow one's consciousness to move on to another body. To allow the transmission of the spirit, the blood of a mother and daughter must be mixed within the womb. The ritual requires a long yet thin needle which ought to pierce the abdomen of the pregnant mother right where the placenta is. Interesting. Sometimes after solving a dilemma, the scholars of Libra will discover a mystery. Mysteries are important discoveries that shed light on past kingdoms and civilizations. Each storyline has its own mystery to uncover. What? The Prime Mother says that we should erase the name of Celestina from all of the records of the realm. However, the Rector believes even vile actions should be preserved as a lesson for future generations. Do we erase the name of Celestina from our records? No. Future generations may need to learn from what happened in the past even though it won't reflect positively upon mankind. Celestina's actions will forever be part of our kingdom's meticulous report. All mentions of Celestina's devious acts were preserved in the archives, an unforgettable and depressing testament to humanity's ruthless thirst for power. Oh, that's all. Now that they have defeated Celestina and her Hollow Maidens, the Silver Mallet fighters have no real purpose. The Prime Mother insists we should assign them to the protection of the king, but the Royal Marshal believes this would diminish the prestige of our knights, who have fulfilled this task for centuries. Do we replace the king's personal guard with the Silver Mallet? No. The king's personal guard will be formed of the army's most valorous knights, as it has always been. The Prime Mother is disappointed. She claims that the Silver Mallet would have been more capable of defending the king against spiritual menaces. And the king is abdicated. Wow, none of them are available. Okay. That's from Alliance. Why is your narrative goal empty? What the hell? Okay. Observant defense. Akla, a diplomatic emissary of the Ankali clans, arrives to Ed Court dressed in red iron armor. She claims they never intended to attack, they just reacted to smugglers trespassing their borders. She demands politely yet strongly that we show the same intent by recalling our troops from their border. It may just be a trick though, and we have no idea what the consequences of such a decision might be. Do we recall our army from the northern border? No. Oh wow. Ugh. Okay, recall then. We retire most of our troops from the border of the kingdom of Ankal. Just a few outposts will stay in place to maintain contact with the Ankali. As a result, our diplomatic relations with the northern kingdom improved greatly. Soon after, commercial trade and cultural exchanges began to flourish. Breaking the ice. Proving our honor to the Ankali proved to be a wise business decision as well as a smart diplomatic move. Trade across the border is flourishing. An honorable alliance. Our recent actions prove to the Ankali that we are honorable. After centuries of mutual indifference, we have a fruitful yet fragile cultural and business relationship. Red iron becomes abundant in our kingdom, including weapons for our army. The only persistent source of fiction is religious, since their ancestors fought against the Sun Empress who declared herself divine, and Ankali abhor the concept of religion. This causes occasional incidents with the most devout of our people. Because of this, the announcement of a planned marriage between Edgern, brother of the Duke of Coden, and Lyra, daughter of the warrior king of the Ankali, causes a sensation. Wow. A chalice in the desert. A huge collection of golden items has been found inside a secret chamber hidden within the ruins of Chalice Peak. Ancient scrolls, golden statues of the mother jewels, and the golden map. Some fear taking these relics away could unleash a curse upon us, but leaving them could lure many desperate fortune seekers into the desert. Do we collect only the golden map and leave the treasure behind? No. Leaving such a huge fortune behind just because of the fears of the superstitious would be foolish to say the least. The prospect of finding even greater riches at the end of this journey thanks to the golden map can't justify such a waste. Part of the expedition is sent back to Libra to carry home the ancient scrolls and golden artifacts. The golden curse, even if completely unsubstantiated, fear of terrible repercussions for stealing the sacred gold of the Sand Priestesses haunts the thoughts and dreams of our people. A golden map, chiseled into a single golden leaf. The map has a grandiose look. As gold easily stands the test of time, its age is unfathomable. However, old legends speak of a golden map leading to an endless fountain of liquid gold. The numerous old scrolls we obtained together with the map are full of references to a Sun Empire, known only from ancient legends dating back to the ages before Omad, the first king. We wonder whether this is a map of the old legends, and how truthful these legends are. It may all be a metaphor for the power and riches of the lost empire. An expedition has to be launched, but the map is not easily interpreted. Our cartographers can't agree on how to interpret the golden map. There are two possible paths. Which route should we take? What? Oh my god. Oh. I would go for route A because route B looks more mountainous and all that stuff. The expedition will proceed on the chosen path. Muddling through, the golden map leads our expedition to a perilous path through a wide swamp. The thick grey mud makes going forward a difficult and slow process. Every once in a while, the huge ruins of an ancient aqueduct decorated with an effigy of the sun rise from the stagnant waters, the vestiges of a lost civilization. Many explorers lose their lives falling into insidious quicksand, poisoned by colorful reptiles, paralyzed and consumed by carnivorous plants, or stung to death by swarms of insects. Some even break down and try to run away, only to be mercilessly executed by the leader of the expedition. Many wonder if the swarms will ever end. But albeit slowly, the expedition keeps going on. The wedding between Lyra and Edgar has been repeatedly delayed due to riots in Duin, caused by zealots trying to force the Duke to break his brother's engagement to the godless princess, as they say. The honor-driven Ankali, though, have been quite upfront, cancelling the marriage would have severe consequences. Do we repress the protests about the interracial marriage? With the help of the Ankali, who are more than willing to teach faith-blind fanatics a lesson, our soldiers escort the protesters to the dungeons where they'll be able to count their bruises, one for each day the wedding was delayed. The marriage between Edgar and Lyra will now proceed unimpeded. With the religious contrast put to rest once and for all by royal decree, the marriage of Edgar and Lyra can finally take place. Over time, more members of our respective nobilities start weaving family partnerships by arranging marriages between their offspring. The Ankali becomes so entangled in our diplomatic web that they become an integral part of our kingdom if in all but name. They respect our opinions and heed our counsel, but keep their convictions regarding religion, and we both learn to respect each other's opinions on the matter without conflict. Both kingdoms will negotiate and fight together as equals against any threat. So do they join the council? And the king is gone. Wow. Wow, that's bad. Oh my god. I got 17 but only 1 here, that's actually quite bad. No narrative goal for this. Oh, I need to be max relationship. Okay. The Tribune brings us news from the people of Tree Trunks, a small village in the northern mark of Duolak. Duolak. I don't know. Duolak. I don't. They claim that a witch is living in the nearby hedgehog woods. She is rumored to be capable of weaving the laws of nature according to her will, but many fear her ways. We send the army to Duolak to apprehend an alleged, alleged. Wait, um, yes. We will not send our precious resources just because of rumors and superstition. However, some superstitious fanatics accuse the council of simply being afraid of the witch, and they assemble a group to address the situation on their own terms. Because of our inaction, a band of religious zealots, proclaiming themselves as the truth keepers, starts roaming the hedgehog woods with pitchforks and torches looking for the alleged witch. Rumors about her ability to bend the laws of nature are becoming more common, enraging the zealots in their brutal search. The truth keepers believe that the locals are hiding something and they are determined to make them talk. During the following months, they frequently abuse the local people to the point that they become more feared than the witch herself. With her surprising fighting skills, Lyra fascinates the people of Duin. Many believe she embodies the spirit of Hild, the saint daughter of courage and war. A memoir titled Confessions of the Soldier Princess has been spreading, inspiring our nobility to take a more active role in society as Ankali nobles do. It is, however, a proven forgery. We denounce the fake memoir of the saint daughter. Yes. Sometimes a lie can be of public benefit. Many nobles try to emulate the narrated events, taking a more active role in our kingdom. The influx of new talents benefits our society at all levels. We let Lyra's memoir spread without denouncing its falsity, even if its incongruences were eventually noticed. Following its success, many other forgeries are produced, spreading false knowledge. A beautiful lady suddenly appears at court unannounced. She is very young with blonde hair and dark eyes, and she claims to be the alleged witch of the Hedgehog Wood. My name is Isidora. I have no supernatural powers, I just use my intellect to solve problems. Protect me from the fearful rebel and I will be at your service. Together we will enter a new era of progress for our arts and knowledge. Do we welcome Isidora, the alleged witch, at court? Yes. Thanks to her convincing words, Isidora is allowed to join the court. The scholars of the kingdom are happy to indulge their unfailing curiosity about her strange ways, disregarding the vehement protests of superstitious people. Isadora seems very young except for her dark eyes which betray wisdom and experience beyond her age. She wears a mantle of black leaves long enough to touch the ground. We assign her a small quarter in the palace where she spends most of the time working in solitude. Over the following months, she furiously writes books and essays whose meaning eludes most. She even builds weird contraptions claiming they will do wonders. Servants and scholars start to regularly ask for her help with several matters, but the most superstitious claim that she is only defilling the court. After months of feverish effort, Isadora's discoveries and inventions are bringing a newfound prosperity to the kingdom, despite the perplexities of the superstitious. Now the witch is gravely ill and asks for a rare and precious herb from the merchants of Kasut. We retrieve the herb to cure the gravely ill Isadora, I guess. When we give her the precious herb, Isadora goes to bed with an unnervingly large smile. Despite this, she never wakes up. It was not a medicine she wanted, but a sweeter, merciful end to an incurable disease. At least she provided us one last bit of knowledge, the real purpose of the rare herb. Our scholars start studying Isadora's notes and scribbles and experimenting with her discoveries. Even though she has left us, her work will be a precious testament to her genius, and her documents will be archived in a royal library in their entirety. You can deny that all the negative things people said about her were utterly wrong. Her name is bound to inspire scholars for generations to come. Her latest discovery, a weird contraption called the Far Scope, that promises to reveal secrets hidden very far away, is rapidly revolutionizing the way we look at the world. That telescope. Eyes to the sky. An entrepreneur named Laprom has decided to embark on a daring endeavor, traveling through all the known lands. The king has already decided to support his cause, but Laprom will need a large expensive workforce. As a cheap alternative, he could forcibly enlist the many prisoners in our dungeons, many of whom have experience as sailors. Do we force prisoners to join Laprom's journey? Yes. Conscripting criminals for Laprom's expedition makes it more economically economic, mm, economically viable, but it does not come without risks. Many will view it as a socially uplifting opportunity for redemption. Some of them were imprisoned for mutiny in the first place. We conscripted many criminals for Laprom's expedition. Few are surprised when one of his ships mutinies, giving itself to piracy and disrupting some of our most profitable trading routes. That's bad, right? Eyes to the sky. Isadora is known to write her notes cryptically. She often proposes peculiar experiments to prove her discoveries, but our resources are limited and the choice of the specific one excludes the other. Choose an experiment. Oh my god. Choose an experiment now. Experiment A. Isadora discovered that some strange stones are attracted to each other and sometimes tend to move in a specific direction. Our scholars put some in a chalice and they remain still. The next day they put the same stones on a floating base in the water and they observed that they always move towards the nearby chalice. Our scholars built a device that always points towards the same direction regardless of its orientation. But what is it pointing at? A lively and heated debate starts raging within the cult. Some priestesses say it must be attracted towards the mother like everything that exists, but the device is not pointing towards the sky where she lives as a constellation, implying that the mother is still on Earth would cause huge theological problems. Yet many call the device the divine recall, and pilgrims want to use it to reunite with the mother even in their mortal lives. Divine recalls. Scholars spend loads of time trying to understand Isadora's cryptic schemes. They show strange correlations between improbable materials, but resources are limited and the choice of a specific experiment excludes the other. Choose an experiment again. Um, choose A again. Following Isidora's cryptic instructions, all scholars powder coal, onyx, and sulfur together, and the mixture seems to have no particular properties. Yet, when they try to ignite the compound, oh my god. Ooh. A series of explosions devastate the royal laboratory, revealing to our scholars the properties of a black dust that burns rapidly and produces a lot of smoke. Wait, isn't that potassium iodide? Scholars learn that constraining the ignited powder creates a rapid expansion of force which damages the surrounding environment. This new onyx dust promises to revolutionize military warfare. Scholars spend loads of time trying to understand Isidora's cryptic schemes. They show strange correlations between improbable blah 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 blah. Choose an experiment. Okay. Insect. This one is fire. I think we'll go for fire. Trying to decipher yet another of Isidora's projects, our scholars fill a metal compartment with water, then put it over a hot flame. The flame is unable to melt the metal, but the scholars observe that the vapors from the water generate a constant upward force. The scholars follow Isidora's intuitions about the constant force of vapors to assemble a huge steam-powered contraption. With a low buzz, the humongous machine begins to move. While its movements are rigid, they do seem to possess great strength, and the applications of its vapor motors are endless. The people begin calling the mechanism the steam giant. Following the many discoveries of Isadora's exceptional mind, the wise and the learned think that knowledge can answer all questions, spiritual ones included. This is why many are surprised when a lost book written by Isidora titled The Secrets of the Soul was found in the Royal Library. It contains revolutionary theories on the fundamental union between matter and spirit, an unprecedented topic for Isidora, so much so that the rector questioned the book's authenticity. Do we accept Isidora's spiritual book as legit? Yes. The Secrets of the Soul instantly becomes very popular, prompting a healthy dialogue between scholars and priestesses. Is it finally time to unveil the secret link between spirit and matter? After the revelation of Isidora's devotion, a new age of harmony and cooperation between scholars and priestesses blooms. A new order within the cult is established called the Order of Spiritual Enlightenment. The brightest priestesses of the cult are encouraged to join the new order and devote themselves to the methodical study of spiritual matters. Much groundbreaking work is done on pivotal questions like the weight of the soul, or for how long the body remains in the earth when buried after death, before going back to the mother's womb to be born again renewed. The growing challenges encountered by the kingdom, the council has expanded and House Olwyn joined the council. Okay. Yeah, I'll read this person's narrative forward. Find a new perspective over reality. Okay, nice. So, eyes to the sky. The famous cartographer Signar is seeking funds for a costly expedition to find the Salon Union, a mythical civilization of half-gods who left marvelous ruins all over Liwick. He claims they might still live on a remote island in the Sire Ocean, and he's sure we can find it thanks to the far scope. The royal treasurer thinks our money would be better spent elsewhere. Do we fund Signal's exploration to find the Salon Union? Yes. Yes, no. After long and expensive preparations, a huge fleet prepares to depart from Solat to probe beyond the western horizon under the direction of Signal. The agile vessels will soon swiftly ride the waves, but the ocean is mysterious home to dangers and opportunities alike. Sail away, the vast Sea oceans holds many secrets and treasures, yet is still mostly uncharted. The people of Solat, who have often lost themselves gazing into the blue vastness, gather in the city of Rouen to cheer on the fleet as it leaves the famous harbour itself, fabled to have been built on top of the ruins of an ancient settlement of the mythical Ceylon. As the swift high-draft ships peacefully lurch into the deep waters of Explorers Bay, a huge crowd gathers upon the white cliffs from Rouen to the lighthouse at Sunset Cape to salute the intrepid seafarers until the ships fade from view to the west, vanishing into the unknown immensity. The holy attendant declares that if the divine recall really points towards the mother, we should build one right in the council room, made entirely from red iron. Our people would be relieved by the thought that the council will always know in which direction they need to point their prayers to solve their dilemmas. Do we build a device that always points towards the same direction? Yes. Oh god. Either way we lose points anyways, so a great cost at great cost, an enormous divine recall entirely made of red iron is built in the middle of the council room. Weirdly, it is noticed that it always points towards the throne. It is rumored that ever since the divine recall was placed in the council room, the favor of the mother has been with the members of the council. Oh my god, that's bad. A large black rock seems to attract all nearby divine recall devices. Despite the ongoing debate inside the cult regarding the location of the mother's body, earth or sky, the holy attendant thinks that the mother lies beneath the rock and proposes that we construct a lavish temple around it. This bold project will be very risky for the many workmen required. Do we authorize the construction of a temple near the Black Rock? No. Wow. There's no conclusive proof of the mother didn't physically ascend into the sky like the cult has been teaching for centuries. We don't authorize the waste of a huge amount of money and labor for futile public work. A holy attendant reports to us that Kralus, a scholar gone mad after the death of his wife, has been caught plugging vapor mortars into human corpses to bring them back to life. His work could lead to revolutionary discoveries, but preventing the dead from returning to the mother's womb is blasphemous, even more than preventing death indefinitely. Do we execute Kralus the mad scholar for his reanimation experiment? No. Sacrificing a skilled mind, even if misguided, would be a waste. He decided to spare Kralus' life, as he is just a desperate grieving husband. Our pardon is a condition, though. He'll have to abandon his studies on the dead and apply his intellectual talents exclusively to help the living. Back to sanity thanks to our mercy, decided Kralus dedicated his life to the creation of medical devices helping people with permanent impairments to contribute again to society. The High Commander believes we should give an expensive file scope to each battalion to increase their effectiveness. Do we supply each battalion with a file scope? No. Despite the undeniable advantages giving fast scopes to the army would bring, they will have to wait until the manufacturing process is better tested and becomes less expensive. The Tribune reports that the cows in Coden are showing symptoms of a strange illness that is killing the cattle. Our scholars suggest that any herd with infected animals should be suppressed entirely to prevent the disease from spreading further. If we do, we risk famine across the region. Do we exterminate the tainted cattle? Yes. No. Oh my god. Despite the protests of our scholars, we can't allow the death of thousands for an excess of caution. We order that only the most blatantly ill cattle to be killed. People rejoice for our wisdom and organize a great festival in honor of Rayla, the saint daughter of wellness. A few weeks later, though, the illness appears in Gammon and Aeontus and Cran. Unfortunately, more and more cows continue to contract the disease and die. Their corpses smell horribly and their meat cannot be consumed. The steam giant is being used to help plow fields and grind wheat. Our farmers are relying heavily on its services at this point, but the High Commander feels it could be put to better use. Do we shift the use of steam giant from agrarian to military? No. The machine is left helping in the fields. The poor rejoice. The steam giant has become crucial for food production. The steam giant continues to support agriculture in the kingdom, providing a substantial boost to our agricultural output. Citizens are starting to use onyx dust in orchestrated pyrotechnic celebrations, but the number of injuries and lethal incidents is high. Do we ban onyx dust from pyrotechnic recreational use? No. Yes. While some onyx dust is still being sold on the black market, it sensibly reduced diffusion greatly reduced the number of incidents. Oh shit, that's so close. Isadora used complex ciphers to protect her discoveries, especially those about spirituality, but also when she was afraid of something. The rector reports that Philona, a sister from the Order of Spiritual Enlightenment, is studying such a scroll, seemingly containing information about an impending menace. But her skills are not enough and she is asking for assistance from the scholars of Libra. Do we order Goffy to keep working on Isadora ciphers? Through an expensive yet impressive concerted research effort, Philona and her scholars and other scholars managed to crack Isadora's code. The scholars are initially disappointed to find out that the cipher seems to hide a mundane historical chronicle Comparing the demise of the Sabian League and the Salon Union, I found that some events oh, uh, complete transition. Repeat throughout history not because of human nature but due to the will of an external force called the Black Dawn. This name and the symbol associated with it recur many times in historical chronicles from different ages and geographical regions. Take the Sabian League for example, it faltered at the apex of its power after a sudden economic crisis. The League's power relied on its famous treasure, a large reserve of gold that allowed the Sabians to rule over other realms. Some mosaics discovered at Chalice Peak could help our scholars better understand the cult of the Sand Priestesses. The Librarian Chancellor suggests that we bring them to Libra despite the costs involved so that they can be studied without requiring long and unsafe travel. Chalice Peak is still a temple of the Mother though, and the holy attendant thinks it should not be further profaned. Do we recover the mosaics about the Sand Priestess? Yes. The Librarian Chancellor's proposal is approved despite the high cost of the endeavor and the lamentations of the holy attendant. Some think we're desecrating a holy place, but relocating the mosaics of Libra will help preserve them as well as make it easier for scholars to study them. Retrieving artifacts from the desert temple increase our collection of foreign antiquities and inspiring display of the past that our future generations of scholars will be able to study for years to come. What? The king is dead? What? Oh. Rumors regarding the divination skills of the Ashes are spreading among the population. Many are frightened by their superhuman power and are reassured that many are imprisoned, but the dungeons are overcrowded and we can't keep arresting them. To solve the issue, the guild mistress suggests we exploit the powers of imprisoned Ashes by enslaving and selling them, but many in the court abhor the idea. Do we enslave the Ashes for their divination skills? The council concludes that releasing criminals with divinating powers doesn't seem like a smart idea. The city guards are instructed to be more cautious when choosing whom to arrest, Asher or not. but for the rest the situation remains unchanged. Many innocent ashes remain imprisoned in the overcrowded dungeons, and those who live free are feared and discriminated against by the rest of the population. With most of the ashes imprisoned, our dungeons are constantly overcrowded. Sudden epidemics routinely plague the prisons and killing many guards and prisoners alike. With the true unnatural properties of ash bread now publicly known, people are even more scared and distrustful of the ashes. The social stigma of the grey mark persists, but many ashes have simply accepted their fate and try to stay out of trouble and get on with their lives. Others refuse to passively resign and occasionally react to the violence against them or even anticipate it with violence of their own, often assaulting the most influential figures of the kingdom. Whenever one of them is caught committing crimes, they are imprisoned, but as their ability with their divination skills increases, delivering these criminals to justice becomes more and more difficult. You can restore your relationship with an enemy by voting 4 times in their favor. Doing so will reset the relationship to the default value. Ah, okay. The expedition is still wandering through the muddy swamp. They need a substantial resupply to overcome the swamp's dangers and make it through. Do we send resources to the expedition? Yes. We spare no expenses and set up a supply chain with deliveries of food and tools to help the expedition traverse the swamp safely. After long and exhausting hardship, the explorers managed to cross the hellish swamp alive. After all the trials and tribulations of their journey, the expedition reaches a deep jungle. Things go relatively smoothly from then on. Despite the hardships of travel, the exhausted voyagers eventually reach a grand golden temple. The structure is entirely coated with thick plates of the finest gold, and expeditioners wonder in awe where so much gold comes from. The temple looks abandoned and in ruin, and there is no trace of the fabled mountain of flowing gold from the legends. But the temple walls are intricately inscribed and worth studying. A long but safe route is established to allow groups of our most eminent scholars to visit the incredible temple and learn its secrets. The chronicles of the kingdom of Ankar have always been transmitted orally, but they go back a long time. Getting accustomed to our written accounts, our ally asked for help compiling their epic songs for all scholars to study. Yet this giant enterprise will occupy our brightest scholars for quite some time. We fund our scholars' efforts to record Ankar's ancient chronicles, yes. Given time, linguists and historians complete the puzzle of the epic northern tales. It seems there was a time when Liwick was entirely covered with ice. Then Kali developed their combat skills in those ancient times when the few fertile territories where agriculture was possible had to be defended from the nomadic raider tribes. As the world warmed, the Ankali had to face a menace much more serious than the ice. A vast army from the south invaded Liwick, and most of the tribes either fled or bent their knee to the one known at the time as the Immortal Empress. The invaders outnumbered them and had 8 incredibly strong champions whom the poems call bloodless shades. Yet the Ankali knew that their territory well and knew their territory well and resisted numerous attacks. The battles continued for a long time until, for no apparent reason, the invading army crumbled into chaos. The heartwarming story of the marriage between Edgar and Lyra is leading to a boom in intercultural mingling with the Ankali. Some of our people fear that their traditions are being watered down and want to limit intercultural marriages. Others, on the contrary, believe diversity enriches the kingdom. Do we limit intercultural marriages between citizens? No. Hmm, no. The private lives of citizens should not be regulated. While some theorists fear the coming change, progressives are convinced that our culture will be enriched both spiritually and materially. The Iron Swan, a royal heavy cruiser pushed away from the shore by a storm, has discovered an island full of plants called Never Tires, whose leaves eliminate the need for sleep when ingested. The locals refuse to sell them, they're scared and they're sacred and dangerous. They offer us other goods though and will gladly share their fascinating culture. Do we order the forceful taking of the plants from the islanders? A military unit on a small silent ship raids the island by night. Those savages that resist have to be violently disposed of, but we now have access to a valuable resource. The consumption of never tire leaves makes for more productive people, but those who consume too many do not survive long. The endearing a ship from Cygnus' fleet turned to piracy during the expedition and is now preying upon our trade routes. The crew quickly gained a reputation for cruelty and bloodlust, and their captain is now infamous as Arcania the Relentless. The High Commander says piracy should not be tolerated, but it's only a single pirate ship. Do we send a navy to hunt down the mutineers and their captain? Yes. Yes. We send a military vessel to hunt for the Enduring. After a gruesome battle, our sailors board the ship and slaughter the pirates from first to last. Many rejoice at the end of the Arcania's reign of terror. Ever since we defeated Arcania the Relentless and her bloodthirsty pirate crew with firm resolve, everybody knows that we control the sea with an iron grip. Donations to the cult of the Mother are dwindling. The Prior Mother wants to give the option to believers of the Mother to pay all of their taxes exclusively to the cult instead of the kingdom. Do we allow the believers of the Mother to pay taxes to the cult? We firmly refuse to allow an option that would impoverish the royal treasury for the sole benefit of the cult. Tax money is better spent for the people than for lavish golden altars. Some translucent wasps are found to lay their eggs in people's blood through their sting. The lady, the melody gives no symptoms, but until the larvae start eating the victim's brain, then carve a way out through their eyes and excruciatingly painful death. The High Commander intends to weaponize the insects, but some fear we can't control them. Do we breed and weaponize the translucent wasps? No. We decree that the glass wasps need to be immediately squashed wherever they are found. Informing people of the danger of these insects will save many lives. Our scholars made a rough interpretation of the inscriptions in the Golden Temple. They reveal a complex ritual that allegedly allows the extraction of pure gold from human blood. The royal treasurer believes mining the gold plates from the temple would be profitable enough and wants to erase the knowledge of this damnable ritual. Do we destroy the hellish wisdom about the golden ritual? The mining operations prioritize the melting the huge plates of gold. The abominable inscriptions before the others' knowledge of how to perform this ritual and its history would be forever lost. After we secured a safe route from Ankis to the Golden Temple, a huge caravan is sent to the south to set up an immense mining operation that will hammer down the ruins of the Golden Temple. After a few months of exhausting but this time relatively safe travel, a hive of workers settles around the ruins of the temple. Miners, prospectors, traders, and jewelers, all intending to profit as much as possible. The huge plates of gold are carefully cut, melted, polished, and sold. We set up a tremendous source of wealth for years to come. Now that we control the Golden Temple, we have more funds to spend. The people want to organize a festival, but the High Commander believes that money would be better spent to upgrade and refit the army with new weapons as have become a more tempting target. Do we invest our funds for the Golden Temple in army improvements? Yes. We upgrade all military equipment to the highest standards and provide more nutritious rations to the soldiers. Their energy and combat effectiveness soars. We receive news that after months spent wandering the Sierra Ocean in search of the fabled island, our fleet has discovered a large shipwreck graveyard. On the brink of insanity due to their lengthy journey, the sailors want to abandon the search and recover the sunken treasures. We order the sailors to keep exploring. The fleet continues its search for the mythical island despite the protests of the crews. However, such a prolonged journey into an empty ocean is taxing on the minds and bodies of the sailors. Many of them go mad with despair and throw themselves into the sea. Persistence towards us, the location of the lost island of the Salan has been found. Getting there was no mean feat, but a great reward awaits our emissaries when they finally arrive. The library, a grand silk tower made of metal and colored glass, still stands by the sea right at the entrance of to the main bay. The islanders, the last descendants of the Salan, now regress to fishing and pastoralism are very welcoming and mostly unaware of the library's precious content, instead worshipping it as a god of glass and iron. Only the few of them who can read are granted access to it and retain any memory of their glorious past. They're called the Holy Guardians, and their peers revere them as priests. Enthused by unsubstantiated rumors blown out of proportion which claim that more golden cities are to be found south of the Golden Temple, the Tribune is advocating for the launch of another expedition into the unknown. The cost and risk of such an endeavor are great and uncertain, while its success is unlikely. Do we launch another Golden City expedition? We took a gamble with the golden map and it paid off handsomely in the end. We may as well invest a small bit of that money if there's a chance to gain even more, however slim that may be. A new expedition leaves Libra after quick preparations to enthusiastic chants from the crowd. The quest for more golden cities in the south proved to be a journey with no return. Not one of those who left ever came back. Oh my god. Some miners have been caught stealing gold from the temple. They say strange voices from below the temple compelled them to do it. The first judge says that even the smallest criminal behavior must still be punished, even if we have such huge amount of gold, but the Tribune believes their story and asks to forgive them. Do we punish the ex-miners now thieves? Oh my god. We have their heads buried under the sand so that they can better hear the alleged voices from below that compelled them to steal. The site manager is satisfied with our firm hand, but people believe the voices below are stirring. Our scholars have been trying to convince the Holy Guardians to let them into the library for months. We even tried revealing to them the location of the ancient battle lost by their Salan ancestors as a gesture of goodwill, but to no avail. It is clear there is no diplomatic way to get in. We force our way into the Holy Guardian's library. Men, women, and children rise up to defend their revered library, and our army is forced to slay them all. Alas, in the heat of the battle, the library is set ablaze. We are now the rulers of the island, but centuries of knowledge are forever lost. Only one weird book is retrieved from the ashes, strangely unscathed by the fire. The green fate of the lost remains of the Salan civilizations will torment us for centuries. Many lives were irresponsibly sacrificed, and their precious knowledge was lost. The Book of Choices. The book has an image of a large branch tree on the cover. It is unnaturally sturdy, but otherwise quite mundane. The scholars expected it to be written in a strange unknown language, but surprisingly it is written in our own. The Book of Choices, as it is called, exerts a strong fascination and few can resist the urge to open it. But those who read it start talking incoherently or fall into a deep slumber from which they never wake. Some say the truths contained in the book are so disconcerting that readers lose their grip on reality. The unsettling tone is soon locked away in a secret home. Is soon locked away in a secret hall of the royal library where no one will open it. During their stay with the Holy Guardians, our scholars learned of some blue grapes commonly found on their island, which the Guardians used to temporarily sharpen their cognitive prowess. The guild mistress reports that after we start importing these grapes, their use has been spreading in our kingdom, where their abuse pushes people to madness or even death. Do we ban the cognitive grapes, a stimulant for the mind? Oh. The commerce in blue grapes prospers, but the cost in human lives is high, as many go mad or even worse, die choking on their dry blue tongues. The artificial brilliance induced by the blue grapes leads our scholars to many original ideas. A secret chamber was found while cutting open the temple. It contains hundreds of golden leaves, minutely inscribed in an ancient language. As the chamber now stands open, scholar Litmius requests permission to move them to Libra for preservation and research, while caravans are busy with bringing the gold back. Do we order the scholars to move the inscribed golden leaves to Libra? The flow of gold to Libra takes a step back as the next caravan is arranged to transport the delicate golden scrolls. Once moved, many of the royal scholars begin studying their contents. The decision bears fruit. The scrolls narrate the rise and fall of the ancient Sun Empire, and it was thanks to the mastery of agriculture first and then of mathematics that our people could think of more than mere survival and develop what was known for centuries as the Sun Empire. The entire East was under our rule, but a few kingdoms rose up in the western steppes. The most powerful among them was the reign of the Chalice. Once it peacefully joined our empire, it became our first door. It became our door to the west. To maintain the peace, a marriage was arranged between the daughter of Chalice King and the first son of the greatest family in the Sun Empire. Oh god. Mm, nice. Hi Moonbee, welcome to the stream. Hi Augie, thanks for the read last night. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for coming by. Uh, and thanks for the follow. It is a dogmatic truth that the spirits of the dead will haunt the living if we burn their bodies, but as fear of the hollow maidens does not wane, people start to burn their dead loved ones, afraid that they may come back to torment them. The cult wants us to forbid this blasphemy. Do we allow the incineration of the dead even if it's against our beliefs? We allow this new custom to expand though the cult disapproves vehemently, and the prior mother states that she believes our customs are becoming barbaric. But despite this, the people feel safer. Ever since we began allowing the dead to be burned, the incidence of disease in our cities has decreased. Fighting beside the silver mallet has persuaded many priestesses that the favor of the mother requires not only intellectual devotion, but also physical perfection. Thus, many monasteries begin training their acolytes with physical exercises at the expense of the sacred text. The holy attendant urges us to restore traditional monastic education. Do we stop the monasteries from adopting the silver mallet's exercises? Um, um, hmm, wow. Many monasteries emulate the silver mallets, drilling exercises, training the bodies of their priestesses, and even teaching them how to fight in single combat. Oh, by the way, Moonby, if you're still here, how's your day? And hope you're fine. Oh my god, my brain's really not working. My brain's not working most of the time, actually, so yeah. I'm just streaming on autopilot most of the time. As a consequence, the study of the sacred text is unfortunately neglected. Over time, monasteries seeking the mother's favor through physical exercise unite together in a new monastic order of fighting priestesses, the Order of the Thorny Chalice. Thorny. After burning his eye by staring at the sun through a far scope, the astronomer Firmus is suggesting that the sun is not the warm heart of the mother spreading her love upon the world, as the car has always said, but it is actually an immense burning deposit of onyx dust. The hell? The implications of this theory could be unsettling for the minds of the uneducated. Do we ban the belief that the sun is a burning deposit of onyx dust? The hell? Yes, we ban the belief. We discourage the Fermis from further spreading this heretic theory. Do he insist with his endeavor, there will be consequences. Torture included if necessary. After we prevented Fermis from proceeding with his heretical research, many scholars interrupted their studies fearful of unpleasant consequences. Yeah. The order of spiritual enlightenment is asking that the firstborn of every noble family in Ankis be forced to spend 3 years at its headquarters in Libra to be taught the most profound aspects of spiritual knowledge. This will make the future dukes and marquises wiser, but it will also come at a great cost. Do we proclaim the forced spiritual conscription in an edict? By royal decree, all noble firstborn will be educated at the Order of Spiritual Enlightenment in Libra. Wise and spiritual leaders will certainly be an advantage for the kingdom and future generations. The nobles educated by the Order of Spiritual Enlightenment tend to continue their intellectual research even during their adult life. The huge amounts of gold imported from the Golden Temple are having unexpected side effects. With so much gold around, the price of goods and services is greatly inflated. What costs one gold coin now costs 10 or more, and the poor can't afford to buy food. Do we redistribute part of the gold to ease the effects of inflation? Distributing gold to the population brings some relief to the poor. People are happy to be gifted gold even if their purchasing power is not increased much compared to before, since the price of goods remains extremely high. In our kingdom, even the poor have gold, but you can't buy much of it. Gold is more valuable in foreign countries though, so many decide to emigrate and increase their living standards. An usher named Flavian has predicted the fall of our kingdom at the hands of an invisible threat. Given the current climate of tension, the Tribune thinks we should not publicly endorse him. The Librarian Chancellor, however, recommends we secretly assist him in interpreting his dreams, but this would be a costly endeavor. Do we help Flavian, the gifted Asher, unveil the mysterious threat? Flavian's visions reveal a truth that could not have been dismissed as a child's myth if it wasn't carefully researched. With the assistance of other ashes and by cross-referencing with the chronicles of the realm, a terrible truth emerges, with which Flavian describes in a secret report entitled "The Way Empires End." There is an ancient secret organization formed from the remnants of the great empire of old. They believe that the enduring lust for more power destroyed their home, and they are determined to maintain a balance among the many kingdoms. They communicate secretly and in their ancient tongue, and the most important members are marked with the glyph of a black dawn. They also have a system of common signs to communicate with one another, such as burning 3 windmills on a single road or releasing 81 white doves in a city. Damn. First, the royal family. Oh my god, that's. Eh, let me try moving and see what happens. After studying the Book of Choices for some time, a group of scholars start questioning the principle of non-contradiction. They're disrupting the academic activities of their peers, arguing with everyone, challenging common sense wisdom in every field. Do we allow the Book of Choices scholars to continue meeting? The Royal Marshal sends her regards to beat some common sense into the crazy heads of the deranged scholars, giving them concrete and indisputable proof that they cannot be hurt and well at the same time. Their mad theories shall not poison our practical sciences. Lieutenant Lasso of the army has been discovered to secretly be an Escher. He found a way to avoid the grey mark by keeping ash bread consumption at a minimum, but he still retains some divinit, divinatory powers and has risen rapidly through the ranks. Many soldiers now feel uncomfortable serving under him, and the High Commander recommends he be expelled, but his skills may prove to be useful. Do we dismiss Larso the Escher soldier? Despite the lamentations of our soldiers, we rule that as long as they abide by the law, Eschers can serve in the army and even become officers. The discontent of a few people is well worth the potential advantages of divinating commanders. Despite suspicion from his subordinates, the seer officer quickly rose through the ranks, sharing his valuable insight with the army. The king declares that the Book of Choices is too dangerous to be kept locked in the library when no one can read it. Such a hazardous item should always be kept at hand when an eye can be kept on it. Do we move the Book of Choices from the library to the council room? The Book of Choices is brought from the council and the king, brought before the council and the king, but even we cannot resist the crowd around it to read its contents. Within there's no meaning to be understood, only a kaleidoscope of ever-changing words that blurs your mind. As we read, we and the king slowly slip into a deep slumber. We slowly awaken in a strange, dreamy palace. The king enters the door on the floor, and we followed him. Rooms repeat endlessly, with little variation as if designed by a frugal architect, and we easily get lost. Weird objects hang from the ceiling of each room, and perplexing symbols are marked on each door. Once we go through a door, it locks behind us, making it impossible to go back. We can only move forward. Wait, what? Oh. The last sentence we remember from the Book of Choices threateningly echoes in our minds. There are two exits from this labyrinth. When you choose your path, remember, madness breeds contradictions, yet sane minds look for consistencies. Choose a door. Wow. No description or whatever. What the heck? Well, now there's ABC. Wow. Oh my god, we're going in circles. That's bad. Wait, aren't we back at the start? What the heck? Okay, that means I have to do this. What is this? Why if I just keep clicking A? Oh, now we're back here. Okay, I'll choose draw A this time. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, okay. So A, B, or C, I would choose B then. Because finally a different choice, right? It's A then. Oh, finally a different thing. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're back here again. Okay, so this one. A, B. Ooh, no. Hmm. Oh my god. We hear the king muttering when the glass is shattered. What do the splinters reflect? The king's mind has been broken by a truth too horrible to contemplate. His contradictory beliefs suggest sometimes keenly reflect an incoherence in the very nature of reality, but most of the time he is just plainly mad, and that becomes his new moniker among those who know of this secret. The Mad King jealously guards the Book of Choices in his chambers, feverishly reading it to himself and to all his heirs. This lingering madness will continue to curse the royal family for decades to come. Hmm. The famed scholar Haldin, one of the most ardent students of the Book of Choices, has lost his mind. We're all trapped in this world, he constantly shouts. Death is the only exit, but even that is up for others to decide. His ramblings are causing quite a commotion. Do we execute Haldin, the student of the cursed Book of Choices? Oh my god. We execute Haldin. His strange ideas were not helping society in any way, and given the circumstances, the pre-madness Haldin would consider our decision for what it is, an act of mercy. Yet some protest our cruel execution of those men whose only guilt was madness. After the execution of the mad scholar Haldin, many intellectuals are scared to explore unconventional ideas. The king interrupts the council. The shadows of the rising sun are coming for us. The end will the end that will start it all again is near. You must listen to me. Do we listen to the king? After gently denying his request, the king abruptly shuts the door and talks our ears off with his delirious talk for more than an hour. When he is done, the Mad King leaves the room singing an eerie tune. Comb the belly, comb its hair, will you live and live in air? Rip the fur off, be a man, all will die and one will stand. Life is no more complicated than a boar's belly, is it? One day you comb its fur and the next day you will wash its scars clean your blood, the ungrateful beast. We often get a choice and you will get one. Oh yes you will, and I tell you, you get the best choice because whatever you choose the outcome will be the same. Some will live and some will die. I tell you, of course those who live and those who die will be different, but let's not be quibblers, shall we? Point is, it will be fun and sad with all the deaths and stuff, but mostly fun. Oh my god, nice. The king was murdered. His attendants found him strangled in his bed with a starlight sun burned on his forehead. There must be a traitor at court, and it is highly probable that it is one of the council members. Every councillor just received a letter from the Black Dawn. We are the shadow that nurtures the new light. We are the Black Dawn. A new sun is rising, and your house risks being extinguished when the old sun dies. We offer you the chance to survive the coming storm and escape extinction. Tomorrow, the restless and the forgotten will act together under our guidance. They will tear this kingdom apart so that it can be reset, renewed, and restarted. Join us and be the touchbearer of the new light. Whoa. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, this is a long story. A silent tide has been slowly rising, imperceptibly suffocating our civilization. The Black Dawn has been building a network of contacts and informers since even before the rise of the Kingdom of Ankis. Over the years, it has taken root in our society and enlisting many representatives of our nobility, army, common people, and even members of the court among its ranks. Many were convinced by the Black Dawn's suave promises. Some joined the conspiracy for glory, some for gain, and some even for conviction, willing to extinguish this age and bring about a new light. Many people joined them, rich and poor, priestesses and merchants, guards and soldiers. Even some of the great houses, blinded by their pride, pledged their service but to the Black Dawn. The council is confronted with a complete breakdown of the kingdom's infrastructure. The usual flux of communication is interrupted. We stop receiving reports and our orders can't be transmitted. The sinews of the kingdom are effectively severed and the council is blinded from what is going on outside Libra. Inside the capital, hordes of people, the sleeper agents of the Black Dawn, flood the streets to steal, rape, kill, and burn whomever they please. The violent incidents are too many and too dire to recount, as many act out of their most repressed feral instincts. The guards struggle to contain them as the most competent officers are either dead, missing, or among the ranks of the traitors. Only a conjoined effort by the loyal houses and their guards could stem the tide in the kingdom's favor and restore order. The final battle that will decide the fate of Ankis has begun. Wow. The map looks different now. The troops reunited in the courtyard in the front of the High Commander are visibly nervous due to the imminent attacks. However, the generals are concerned that fake news could start spreading through the troops. Do we take the time to reassure the troops? Yes. The troops feel invigorated by the speech of the High Commander, and the war cry echoes across the courtyard. The troops are ready for battle. Several trade guilds worry about the impact of the rebellion on their business, have declared that they will stop all trade with Libra unless we send an army to secure a safe trade route. Doing nothing could mean trouble if the battle carries on for too long, but we need all our forces in Libra. Should we create a safe trade route? Yes. We agreed to send troops to secure a secret trade route. The soldiers will patrol the newly created route and ensure all merchants can continue their business safely. This, however, will take its toll on our defensive capabilities. Some soldiers are contracting a strange disease. Large blisters appear on their limbs and most of them die shortly after. Do we quarantine infected soldiers? Yes. The infected soldiers are quarantined inside a delimited area of the city. Slowly the area becomes busier and as more and more people join them. More of the infected die after a couple of days. Some manage to recover. Most importantly, we keep the disease from spreading uncontrollably. After a night spent securing the library, the librarian chancellor brings to our attention a strange paper with lines of different colors and thickness. At first look, it seems like a simple sketch, but the fact that it was stored in the library could mean something. Do we study the paper? After days of study, mostly looking at the paper, our scholars conclude that it must be a color experiment by a nomad kid that remotely resembles some sort of map. They kindly invite us to avoid wasting their time with useless research when there are still weapons to develop. Damn. We're dying, right? There is smoke coming from the southeast towers. Soldiers in the area reported that the fire is under control for the time being, but the risk of it spreading to other parts of the castle is high. The Royal Guard suggests we use everything we have to extinguish it, but water is a precious resource, especially if we'll be facing a siege. We use water to extinguish the flames. The wooden frame of the tower is a constant fuel for the flames. We ended up using the majority of our water as supplies to extinguish the fire. We don't know how we will be able to survive the siege. Oh god. The Black Dawn is leading an attack on the front gates. Sooner or later they will breach them, but right now the High Commander suggests we focus on the exposed unit that is currently maneuvering the battering ram. The strategist wants us to use the archers to protect our soldiers instead. Do we destroy the battering ram? We have to defend the front gates. The High Commander orders most of our troops to focus on the battering ram. After a ferocious battle, the unit is annihilated, but more and more attackers keep coming at us. They're gonna breach no matter what we do. Yep, I'm screwed. Ankar mercenaries are marching from the north. The Red Iron Infantry is our strongest unit, but the Ankali are fearsome warriors. We move the Red Iron Infantry to the front of our formation. Okay. The Ankali are the toughest warriors on 2 continents. Containing them is our top priority. Moving the Red Iron Infantry to the front to dramatically boost our confidence. Our opponents are caught off guard as our Red Iron armor is able to withstand. This is a spelling mistake. Their attacks wonderfully. The enemy is trying to climb the walls. They are using weird ladders that are built like tunnels, offering protection from every side. Some of our soldiers are looking for barrels to throw down the walls, but the High Commander recommends we use them to store liquid to pour from the magicalations. Do we use the barrels to store liquids? Large barrels filled with cheap boiled oil are transported from the kitchens to the wall. We start pouring the hot liquid on enemies that are attempting to climb. Their ingenious ladders may protect them from falling barrels, but they are useless against liquids. One by one, the climbing troops fall to the ground with their skin burnt and their armor melted. Now for the regular ladders. A masked intruder was spotted near the northeast tower and is currently hiding somewhere. The Royal Marshal, the Vice Commander of the Chamberlain are in a room nearby planning our next moves around the table of war. Do we increase security in the room? We place more guards inside the room as we don't play hide and seek with the intruder. We will wait for him to show up, and he does. Disoriented by a large number of soldiers, the intruder manages to cripple 2 guards and aim for the Chamberlain, but the other guards immobilize him before he can do any damage. In the blink of an eye, the intruder's head rolls on the floor. A captain from Tox is leading a mixed troop of soldiers from his Marquis and Silver Mallet. He considers the Silver Mallet strong but reckless allies. On the other hand, the Silver Mallets consider the soldiers of Tox well-organized warriors but too soft on the pagans. They demand the troop be led by one of their own for the upcoming battle. Both corps will make strong use of the archery. We let the Silver Mallet lead the charge. Remembering our help against the great evil, the captain respects our decision. The following day, the battle begins in Libra. The Silver Mallets hold their rank concentrating the army in one spot for the soldiers from Tok and archers. As arrows rain down on the enemies, the silver menace break ranks, leading to accidental friendly fire. Oh my god, that's bad. Guards patrolling the towers have spotted a rope hanging out of library's window. The secrets of our kingdom could be at risk, but it could also be a trap. Do we send someone to defend the library? The royal guards stormed into the library, which the librarian chancellor refused to abandon despite the dangerous situation. One guard looking out the window spots a masked man climbing a rope. The guard immediately takes aim with his crossbow and shoots. The bolt hits the intruder in his shoulder, making him lose his grip on the rope. Medical red iron tools are proving to be essential to save injured people, especially civilians. Under the relentless attacks of the enemy, it is more important than ever to focus on treating our soldiers on the battlefield. Do we stop using red iron tools to treat injured civilians? Our soldiers are putting their lives on the line for the sake of the kingdom, so we will tend to them with the highest priority. This is the right decision and most civilians understand this. Even minor wounds could be fatal if not treated correctly, and all soldiers who recover can head back into battle. The noble families of Libra demand that we retrieve the bodies of their loved ones from the battlefield, recognizing the bodies should not be a problem, but it's still risky. Do we organize the retrieval of the bodies? Moving the bodies is too complicated and time-consuming. Instead, we decide to simply retrieve the embroidered names from the uniforms of our comrades. The families do not fully appreciate the gesture. The fighting in the streets of Libra does not stop even for a day. The people who did not leave the city are hiding in their houses or in abandoned buildings, but are starting to run out of food and water. Do we retrieve the red cacti from the outskirts? The red cacti can help save many lives. They are simple to cook, nutritious, and rehydrate the body. Even if it's dangerous to venture in the outskirts, we cannot abandon our people. Our team is tasked to retrieve the red cacti from the warehouse. Many do not come back from this daily mission, but heroes who survive manage to retrieve enough red cacti to last for a week. Even if famous for their dislike of the king's bloodline, Dualuk offers a huge contingent to the loyalist cause. They even express a preference to defend and in case of attack at the royal apartment. They seem to be looking for something. Do we reassign them elsewhere? Soldiers from Dualuk are deployed as guards at the front gate. The morning after this decision, the whole contingent vanishes into thin air. Apparently they stole a cube-shaped object placed near the king's bed. Oh no. Farmers from the Coden proudly show us a cart full of modified mud and offered to let soldiers bathe their swords in it. The Ankali platoon, even if reluctantly, has already emerged their weapons. The smell is unbearable and the whole situation is unreal, but surely they have their motives. Do we accept the offer? The farmers are disappointed. They worked so hard on a modified monk, but as we explain, the battle is already harsh on its own. The rotting smell of monk will only disturb. As we leave, the Codenins try to explain further, but we don't want to hear anymore. Priestesses from the old Order of Spiritual Enlightenment of Gladin want to be treated as soldiers and sent to the battlefield. They say they can fight and give spiritual comfort to the souls of the fighters. We let the priestess stay in the army. We must respect the decision of our allies. The priestesses' services are given to every soldier in need, and soon some of the volunteers are found dead or gone missing in battle. The princess's sacrifice and work won't be forgotten. How's that a bad thing? Oh, the king's death was only the first part of the attack. The king's treasury was broken into and split up among many profiteering rebels, stealing all the gold they could carry with them and removing the precious stones from what was too heavy to move. All the librarians of the kingdom were burned. All the libraries of the kingdom were burned, including the royal library. All of Isidora's research notes were lost, as well as the innumerable natural and technological discoveries made by our scholars throughout history. Other chronicles of the realm were also lost to the fire, making it difficult for future historians to trace the ascending parabola of the kingdom of Ankis and assess the cause of its abrupt collapse. It is rumored that only the Book of Choices survived the fires, and it was carried away by masked members of the Black Dawn. The loyalists are too few, too weak, too divided to stem the tide of the chaos. Some of the grand houses courageously tried. Yet even those committed to put up a joint resistance are torn apart from the inside, divided by treachery among their own ranks while trying to face an unmatchable force. The many Black Dawn infiltrators bring down the loyal houses one by one, assassinating their key members and leaving the rest unable to organize a resistance to match the widespread chaos. Throughout the destruction of the political center of Ankis, the kingdom collapses into a vast sea of fragmented territories vying against each other for political supremacy. The Black Dawn succeeded in its task. A new dark age awaits. Most members of loyalist houses are executed. Particularly cruel is the fate of those who are denied the mercy of a quick and painless death. As the leader of the loyalist faction, your descendants are blinded by fire and stripped of their own title, all their possessions, and split somewhat equally by the forces of dusk. Every mention of your house is erased from what remains of the chronicles of the kingdom, and its name will be lost in the proud history that is no more. Thanks for playing. This proofreading by William Niebling. Excuse me, you made one spelling mistake. Actually, a few, but I don't really count. But there's one withstanding. Please fix it, thanks. I see Chris Payne. Okay, we have completed the game. Oh, not much actually. Damn. Oh god. It's actually a rather big game. Like, really big. Awesome though. But I like the story and all that. Very interesting. Anyways, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching. Thanks Moonbee for coming by. Thanks for following yesterday. Yeah. And thanks so much for sticking around for those who stuck till the end. I'll probably play another game next stream or something. Yeah. Okay, let's see who to raid. Excuse me. Looks like Study Pause is streaming right now. I'm going to drop her a shout out and also, yeah. She usually do study streams. I'm actually surprised she's not studying right now. She's actually playing a game. But I thought she's in exam mode. Just anyways, I'm going to rate her. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by, and thanks for sticking to the end. Bye.